Greetings students, today's topic of the day is precautionary principle. So let's begin today's class. So let us peek into the definition of precautionary principle and delve to understand what is the meaning and the definition of precautionary principle in the domains of environmental law. We all know what is the meaning of precautionary or the word precaution. That means prevention or safety. Precautionary principle underlines that sustainable development which requires that the development activity must be stopped and prevented if it causes serious and irreversible damage. So, if any work or any activity has a high chances or risks to cause any irreversible damage or is a serious threat to the environment or which might tantamount to cause a damage or jeopardize the equilibrium of the environment itself, it must be stopped in accordance to the precautionary principle. The precautionary principle ensures that a substance or activity posing a threat to the environment is prevented from adversely affecting it even though there is no conclusive scientific proof linking that particular substance or activity to environmental damage. So, if it so happens that the activity at the end of the day may or may not cause the serious damage, but it likely to be felt that it might tantamount to create a damage. Please note, it might. Hence, why I'm using the word might, because it may happen or it might not happen. But if it tends to happen, or if it is felt that it might tantamount, please note, it might tantamount to a serious damage. In accordance to the precautionary principle, such necessary steps should be taken, the activity should be stopped. So, it is all about taking the preventions or preventive measures to stop that activity. Since we all know one of the favorite idiom, that is prevention is better than cure. Hence, this in the same way or the same manner, the precautionary principle is based upon. Here, if preventive measures or prevention is adopted, rather than delving deep into seeing to the fact that whether that activity might cause the damage or not. So if it is felt at the end of the day, in simple words, that the activity might cause some irreversible damage as it is written on the given note, that particular activity should be stopped from happening. Now, moving off to the precautionary principle. The precautionary principle has been given utmost importance in the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development held at Rio in 1992. Principle 15 of Rio Declaration states, in order to protect the environment, the precautionary approach shall be widely applied by the state according to their capabilities where there are threats as serious as of irreversible environment degradation. So, precautionary principle plays a significant role in determining whether the development process is sustainable or not. Inadequacies of science are the real basis that has led to the emergency of precautionary principle. The principle is based on the theory that it is better to be on the side of caution and prevent environmental harm which may indeed become irreversible. So, there is a noted case in accordance to the precautionary principle, which is the Supreme Court in India in the case of Vela Citizens Forum versus Union of India held that precautionary principle is a part of the environmental law of the country itself. Lastly, ingredients of precautionary principle. Environmental measures by the state government and the statutory authorities like state pollution boards must anticipate, prevent and attack the causes of environmental degradation. When And secondly, when there are threats of serious and irreversible damage, lack of scientific certainty should not be used as a reason for postponing measures to prevent environmental damage. So, if we tend to see that if there is a threat that might cause irreversible damage, here scientific reasoning or any form of rationality should not be the reason for postponing measures of preventive environmental damage. So, precautionary principles mainly works on the assumption. Here, even scientific reasoning or rationality takes the back seat, but assumption takes the front seat. So, if it is felt or if it is assumed at the end of the day that somehow some particular activity might jeopardize the environment, the equilibrium of the environment, or somehow cause some serious damage to the environment itself, it must be stopped at every possible means. And the government and the statutory authorities and the particular pollution board must take all the necessary steps in the most adequate form to enforce the precautionary principles. So please do remember that precautionary principles is all about taking the preventive measures beforehand so that it might not tantamount to cause any irreversible damage. It is completely based on assumption, and those assumptions are completely taken care of and taken noted of. Because if it is assumed that there is a high chances or risk, and if there is a threatening possibility of causing any damage to the environment itself, such activity should be stopped at every possible means. So, this is all about precautionary principles. Thank you.